there, my name's Christine. I'm a demonstrator with Stampin'Up, and this is the second video in my installation on the new tulip bundles. Sorry, the tulip collection, I should say. I hope I didn't shift that too much. No, I think we're good. Okay, so the new mini catalog came out already a month ago. I don't know where time goes. And there is the Flowering Fields suite in that catalog, which you can see. It has two bundles. So one of them is the Flowering Tulips Bundle, which is what we're focusing on this video. The other is the Tulip Fields Bundle, which is absolutely gorgeous, and that'll be another video because I don't want to keep you here for hours. There's gorgeous ribbon, just this one. Feels almost like a woven linen. It's really nice to work with. And there are these gorgeous brushed brass butterflies that are part of the suite. The paper is absolutely gorgeous. I think that'll be another video because wow. So yeah, we're going to be using the Flowering Tulips Bundle tonight. And actually, we're only using the stamp set. So I'm going to remove our catalog. So the stamp set is just lovely. It's got a thank you. You are so thoughtful. And this works well with the layering circles dies as well to cut out. And then there are some tulips. Now these are two-step is one word used for them when you have to build layer your stamps to build the tulip. There's some grass, there's some leaves, a stem, a Mother's Day, happy Mother's Day. No one deserves a happier birthday than you. Love you so much. Let today be the start of something new, and just thinking of you today. So nice sentiments, very general, broad use. And there are these gorgeous dies. Now I always put my dies on a magnetic sheet, which is what you're going to see here. They don't come on the magnetic sheet, but I just want to show them to you. So there are open dies. So this would cut out one of the tulips with the stamp. There's tulip builder dies, which is the video that I posted, the first video that I did on this suite. And there is this beautiful tulip border, which I have yet to use. There's the leaves, a stem that you can do on its own that you can use with the tulip builders, or you can actually cut out the stem that you stamp. The grass has a cutout, and the bud, and the other tulip. And then this little guy is part of the tulip builders. And this is a fun one. It just adds kind of a pattern to your paper that you can then see through. So fun dies. We're not actually using the dies in this card because I wanted to show you how to layer the stamps to build absolutely beautiful images. So I'm going to turn the light on so that you can see what I'm doing, and we shall get creating. So we are using, I like to use a thick white card base because it stands up really nicely so people can display it. But I'm always hesitant to stamp right on my base, only because if you make a mistake, well, you don't want to start a new card base, right? So what I like to do is I'm going to stamp on a piece of regular basic white, and I'm going to layer that on top of my base. So that's that. So we'll just set the base aside for now, and we will focus on this piece. Now, our stamps always come with a protective sheet. I just took that off. And inside your card, inside your stamp case, sorry, there is a printout of all of your stamps. So if you line it up that way, you can see where to put them back when you're done with them. So I'm going to keep that handy over here. Now, what I have found is that I find it easier to do my tulips first, the flower, and then build, actually, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to start with my tulip, and then I'll add the stem and all of that afterward. So I am going to use Polished Pink and Pale Papaya from the In Colors. I find them a nice contrast, so it'll show up nicely in the video. And I'm also going to use Pear Pizzazz and Evening Evergreen for the greenery. So let's get started. So we'll start with our big tulip. So there are 2 stamps that make up this big tulip, plus another one for the center. So I'm starting with this image, and I'm going to do that one in the polished pink. And I'll open the pale papaya now as well. I don't know if you noticed this, on the back of our stamp cases, there's like a sticker sheet, and there's the name of the color that you're holding is the top one in English, and then it's in French and German. But then there's also a stripe that doesn't have any writing on it. And you can put that stripe on the inside of your stamp case, and that way when you've got more than one color open at once, you can tell easily which color it is. So I haven't done it for all of my stamps, but I'm working on it. All right, so I'm just inking that up, lightly tapping it. And I'm gonna put that one over here. And I'm just cleaning that off on my Simply Chamois, but you can use whatever you prefer to clean off your stamps. And then I'm going to do the second step to this stamp in the pale papaya. So I'm stamping over top of that image, and you can see where the petals loosely line up and where the center is. And it's much easier when I'm over top, so forgive my head if it's in the way. Kind of working around my camera. All right, so can you see that? So the 2 colors kind of make up the flower, but there's more. And I mean, you can use any colors you want. I'm purposefully using kind of colors that look different from one another to do this one, because I want it to be visible on the video. But you can do whatever colors you would see in nature or even without. So I'm just using, see, this is one of the stamps I haven't done yet. This is gray granite that I'm just using for our center. You could use black as well, or a different gray. I just didn't want it to be so bold with the blacks. So that's that one. Now we're going to do our second flower. And decisions. Put it over here. And it has another piece over here. It just adds dimension. And you can use the same color as well and just have one color. So this one lines up with kind of this little almost heart shape. I'm just having trouble seeing because of the angle I'm at, so usually a little quicker, but yeah, the camera's right up there. Okay. Oh, actually, I'm still going to need that, but we are done with these 2, so I'm going to put those away for now, so I don't stick my fingers in them. All right, now we're going to move to Evening Evergreen. And I got this idea actually from the photos that are in the catalog, where they've used 2 different greens, and I thought it looked really cool. I get a lot of inspiration from the catalog. I don't know about you. I find it a really awesome resource. And if you don't have a catalog and you need a catalog and you're in the Ottawa area, let me know. I'll be happy to get you one. All right, so now we've got our stem. There is the top of the stem has a bit of a nub kind of on it, and the bottom looks, it doesn't look like a cut tulip at all. It's really meant to look like it's in the ground. You'll see what I'm talking about when I stamp it. So we are going to do this one. Sorry, I really need to get above it so that I can see. That's the nice thing about clear stamps, is you can see where you're stamping, and I didn't want it to look like the tulip was not attached. And my other one I'm going to do in Pear Pizzazz. Oops. Sorry, I think I bumped my camera there. go. So you can see how this end kind of looks like a tulip, like a flower stem would, like it's attached to the flower, whereas this is kind of open-ended. So it could be part of a bouquet, but in this case, it's in the ground. And then there are beautiful petals. There's two different styles, a big one and a small one. And you can stamp these this way or this way, and they end up having a very different look. So I'm touching the base. And I can see that I've got some evening evergreen on my block. So I was being very careful not to have those touch. So I'm going to turn the stamp around and show you what the other petal looks like if it's done in the other direction. So it's quite lovely. And the other leaf, which I want to show you as well, is this one. This one's a lot more, it's a lot brighter, not brighter, but has a lot more kind of surface to it. So the color is going to be a lot bolder. That's what I'm noticing. And for good measure, we'll do the pear pizzazz as well. No, we're not. I don't like the look of that. I will leave it as is. All right, so next we've got a stamp that looks like grass. So much fun. You're maybe noticing that I'm changing sizes of my blocks, and I do that because I find it easier to manage certain stamps if they're not that much smaller than my block. You can totally get away with using block D for all of these. Okay, so that's pear pizzazz, and that's just grass. So I'm going to put it over here. I have noticed with this stamp, you gotta remember to press down the bottom left, because the stamps open up top, and I keep forgetting to press the bottom left down. So I end up having to go over top of it, which is doable, but it's always a little risky. So I have a little bit of an oops over here, and I'm hoping that we're going to cover that. And we are. Look at that. Totally covered it. See? So that's kind of like, meant to look like the grass, where it would be kind of popping up through the soil. And I could put another one. I'm not going to. All right. Now, I hadn't decided what color to make my sentiment. I'm not adding any other layers to this card. It's going to be just as it is. If you've seen my cards, I have trouble doing that. I'm trying to keep this super, super simple. I am going to, you know what? I am going to complicate things just a little bit. So I'm going to use the Just Thinking of You today. I don't love the word just. I find it dismissive. And what I want to say is thinking of you today. So I'm using a sticky note, and I'm covering just. And then when I stamp it on my card, it won't be there. And I am going to do that in Evening Evergreen. Now, decisions. Does it go down here or up here? I think I'm going to put it up top. So the big trick to successfully doing this technique is to remove your mask afterward before you stamp. I have done this. There we go. And if ever you're stamping and it doesn't quite turn out the way you want it to, you don't have to start your card over. That's when you stamp your sentiment onto another piece of cardstock and you cut it out and you put it on top, and nobody needs to know. I would usually shape it a little bit bigger maybe so that it's going to hang off a bit. and it becomes a design element. So no need to start over. So that becomes Thinking of You Today. And I want to show you, these are adorable. They're just a little design pop. Kind of goes along with that that cutout sort of die. So it's just little X's, and I find they just add a little something. Don't need a lot. So that's our card, and then you could add some embellishments to that if you want to, or not. What I am going to do that is kind of fun. So the other thing that I have done as well is on the inside of my card base, I have stamped a tulip, and I'll show it to you. Is it in one of these? Sorry, I'm just, no. Then I will do it on the video. I've stamped a tulip on the inside, but I'm not stamping it at full strength of the ink so that it's not taking away from the inside of the card. And I'm going to do this before I add my top layer, because my top layer is going to get things a little bit bulky. So I'm going to, again, break out the polished pink. So that's called Stamping Off. And you can see it's a much paler color. Now, because the pale papaya is already really pale, I'm not going to stamp off. I'll do that one at full strength. Excuse my hand getting in the way there. All right, so I'm just gonna line these guys up as best I can. Oh, that's cool. Do you see how with the paler pink, it's turned some of it orange where the colors overlap? Love that. And last but not least, we're just gonna put the gray little inside seedy things. I forget what they're called. I remember learning that in science class many years ago. I'm going to stamp that off as well, because I do find this gray a little bit intense. I also just re-inked my ink pad not long ago, so there we go. Isn't that pretty? So that's the inside. And I would, you know, if I was mailing this, I would do something to the envelope as well. So we're going to use our dimensionals, which are double-sided foam bits, just to make it a little bit interesting since we're going tone on tone with the white. You could also, if you wanted to, add a piece of cardstock underneath this, just poking out a little bit. I ended up cutting the white at 5 3 3/4, I think. Yes. So I basically took a 1/2 inch off each side. So that means I could easily put a border underneath this that would be 5 1/4 by 4, and it would just poke out by about a 1/4 inch. So you could put any of these colors just poking out, would look lovely. But I like the way it looks just like that. Nice and simple, right? Doesn't always have to have all the bows and frou-frous to look nice. So that's this one. This is another one that I made. So I brought in a layer of the In Color Designer Series paper. So this is this stripe of polished pink that I put underneath. And I elevated my sentiment as well. And I brought in the oh goodness, this label punch that has 2 styles of labels, which I can't think of the proper name of right now. So I like that one a lot. And that one's got the in color gems, the 2021 to 2023 gems. And then this one pulls in the in color cardstock, sorry, designer series paper, a stripe of evening evergreen, just a little bit poking out. It's got the ribbon and the butterflies. And I also used an embossing folder. It's one of the older ones from the annual catalog. Sorry, it's the Meadow Moments embossing folder to make this pretty pattern. And then the thank you is the "You Are So Thoughtful." I stamped it and then I just cut it out to take away the circle. So just to make it look a little different. So that's what I was up to today, and I hope you like these cards and that they inspire you to give this bundle a try, or even just the stamp set. If you don't have dies, you know, there's no reason that you can't enjoy this stamp set for a variety of occasions. I hope that I've helped you kind of figure out how to use it best and what works for you, and given you some project ideas. Please subscribe to my channel to see my next videos. I will be doing some videos on the windmills. What is that? The windmill fields, dies, and tulip fields. So again, the stamp set looks amazing on its own, but also has killer dies. So I'll be doing another set of videos on those. Thank you for watching.